The High Priestess, balancing inner and outer worlds. So we're going to talk today about this beautiful card, the second in the major arcana, the High Priestess. This particular image is from the Dreamkeeper's Tarot, which is a deck that I love. And I'll also share with you this image from the Modern Witch Tarot that's also a really beautiful one. So in general, when the High Priestess comes up, we're looking at internal knowledge. So if you look at some of the images that are available in this particular card, you have this woman who's standing in a bird's nest. She's got these kind of bony wings behind her. And I don't know how well you can see this in the video, but she has a moon and the earth, and inside of her, kind of in her gut, womb, maybe heart region, there's a universe, there's a planet inside with sort of stars, like there's a world going on in there. She's also holding a scroll and she's kind of looking off to the side, and she's in this sort of Victorian dress. So, you know, for me, when I pull this card, what I'm thinking about is the ways in which I'm trying to connect that universe on the inside, the things I know in my heart and in my gut and maybe even in my womb, that sort of magical, intuitive aspect of looking at kind of the spiritual side of things as I do when I'm working with tarot, and marrying that with, you know, what I know to be true, scientific evidence. In my case, I like to work a lot with what I know about, you know, counseling skills and psychotherapy in combination with tools like the tarot. So the High Priestess is really someone who can kind of bring together her deeply held internal intuitive knowledge and combine it appropriately with, you know, evidence-based practices, how she presents herself to the world, things like that. I think that's really beautifully shown in this Modern Witch Tarot image. You have this very powerful woman with the symbol of the moon, and she's kind of wearing this outfit that is reminiscent of, you know, something that a priestess might have worn a long time ago. She's got this kind of ceremonial looking band on her head, and she is doing her emails or you know, editing her YouTube video or whatever it is that she's busy doing, trying to figure out how to bring that spiritual aspect from the inside to the outside to kind of share it with other people. So I have heard that the High Priestess is in a pair with the Magician, which is the first in the major arcana after, of course, the Zero, which is the Fool. And the idea is that the Magician is someone who has, you know, all of these tools available to him, but he represents kind of the conscious world, whereas the High Priestess, same sort of idea, except she reigns over the unconscious world. So if you've pulled this card, you really want to be thinking about, am I in touch with my intuitive aspect? Am I in touch with my spiritual side? Or am I in a place where I'm maybe feeling a little bit like, for example, I have to present a certain kind of face to the world, and I'm not necessarily bringing forward that universe on the inside? I think if you've pulled this card, it's kind of reassuring. There's a feeling for me that this energy is here. It's with you. It's within you. You don't need to work really hard to access this part of yourself, but maybe you've forgotten, right? I think this is something that comes up. It's like, we all have this. We all have these intuitive aspects to us, though it can look different, you know, for different people, but we forget how powerful we are. We forget how powerful our unconscious is. We forget to pay attention to our dreams. We forget to meditate. You know, we forget to do whatever the things are that help us to feel connected. And if you're reading your tarot right now, you're in that practice. You're doing that. You're asking your intuitive mind to come to the surface and tell you something about what's going on deeper, you know, below the level of the narratives that your brain comes up with. And that's something really, really powerful and can be translatable to, you know, your everyday work, your everyday relationships, all of those things. And I think that when you can tap into the power of the High Priestess, wow, you're in a good place to be really working from your own truth and bringing it forward and creating something beautiful in the world, sharing it in some way. So you'll want to look at the other cards that have come up in your spread as well, maybe to get a little bit more information on how to do that translation or where it is that you're needing a little bit more of that energy. But in general, this is a really lovely card to get just to remind you of the universes that you already have inside. So I hope that was helpful. This is a beautiful card from the tarot deck. Please let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts, anything else that you want to add. Of course, these interpretations change depending on what's going on, who's asking the question. There are lots of different ways to read tarot. Remember that the most important interpretation of the tarot is yours. It's how you feel when you look at the card. So make sure that you're paying attention to that, especially if it's the High Priestess that you've drawn. Enjoy, and I'll speak to you next time.